I'm going to sketch a solution for dimensioning this wood frame building to ANSI standards. We'll assume it's a self-contained building, perhaps a restroom in a state park, and we will dimension it according to ANSI wood frame. The first thing we want to do is draw a stringer 3/4 of an inch away from the wall. So I'm marking off 3/4 of an inch. And because wood frame is dimensioned to the exterior face of the stud, I'll indent it. So what I'm dimensioning to here is the exterior face of the stud, and the remainder is the wood siding. All the overlaps need to be consistent, and we'll draw a tick mark. That means we have a dimension from here to here. Then we'll draw another stringer. Stringer means dimension line, and dimension it 3/4 of an inch from the wall. And again, indent a bit because we're dimensioning to the exterior face of the stud. Now we'll dimension to the center of the door and then to the center of this wall. Then we draw another stringer 1/2 an inch from the first one, and that is where the overall dimension will go. On this wall, we also have an interior wall. Interior wood walls are dimensioned to their centers. And then we'll draw another stringer 1/2 an inch from the first one. And this is where the overall dimension will be. Now we'll come over this way. Since this floor plan is not symmetrical, we need to dimension all 4 sides. Come out 3/4 of an inch. And then we have a dimension here for this wall. And we don't need to do an overall here because we have an overall here. Now let's do this wall here. 3/4 of an inch. And we'll put this dimension on it, and this dimension, and this dimension. And again, we don't need an overall because we have the overall up here already. Now we have some interior dimensions, and I don't have a specification for that, just not too far away from what you're dimensioning and not too close. So face of stud, center of wall, face of stud. And we could add this dimension to it, or we could do a stringer right about here. There's no one right way to dimension when you get into a plan with a lot of complexities. I could choose to dimension the center of the door here, and these are opposite each other, so I could do that and that. Now, as for putting the dimensions on them, this is a 1/4 inch scale, so at the 1/4 inch scale you need to measure all this, and this looks like it is about 6 feet 10 inches, and you write it above this. You need a little space between the line and the dimension, and it should be lettered in guidelines. And then you'd need to dimension that. I'm just going to dimension a few. This looks like it's 12 foot 3 inches. The dimension goes that way. And then your dimensions for here go above the line also. And on this side, they go on the left. So you would turn the paper and dimension. Looks like this is about 8 feet 10 inches. Then you'd put the dimensions for this distance here, here, and here. And then this looks like it is 7 feet 6 inches, and that dimension would go here. And that is how you dimension a wood frame building to ANSI standards.